I'm from microbiology field.
Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm disconnected.
That's okay.
Yeah, may I know where are we? So are we on the same page?
Yeah.
So you got to know how to add the property value to the XML file. Is that clear? Or I didn't talk
Yeah.
about that. Usha, is that clear, Usha? Am I
Yeah.
talking? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thanks. Okay. So where it is disconnected when I'm running the test is disconnected. Am I right?
Yeah, I think you're about to run the
Run.
test.
Okay. Let's run it. Okay, and you can see that 10 meters is 1000 centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the value is correct. Okay, fine, that's fine. Okay, so let's add one more test. So that's about custom properties. Okay, so depends on in the project level we have these many custom properties. In the suite level we don't have any custom properties. In the test level also we don't have any custom properties. Okay, depends on your requirement. You can choose to add the properties in different levels. At the same time, when you are trying to add these properties to your test, okay, make sure you right click on the XML, go to data, and there are multiple levels are there. Choose a level and choose a property. So that's how you can able to add it.
So is it same like for test data also? Can we parameterize the test data?
You can, but
Say like for example, here you have hard
yeah,
coded as 10,
I understood.
and if I want to like do for multiple different things, 20, 30,
Yeah,
and I need to repeat the same thing, or
no, that's not possible. Let's say you can, you can move this value, hard-coded value to the custom properties. Okay,
mm-hmm.
but it is always 10, right? Is the data is changing?
Yeah, if what happens if the data is changing? If can we maintain?
Yeah, you can change in the sense. So if the data is changing, that's another test. Am I right?
Okay.
Okay, and another test you got if I
Like the same test case but with multiple test data.
yeah, that's a different topic. It's a data driven concept where you can write one single test, but data you read it from somewhere and run it multiple times. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about that data driven concept. The topic which you are asking is data driven concept. Okay, you have only one test and the data will be keep changes and you will be reading the data from a different source. Okay, so if you have 10 test data, you'll run the test case for 10 times. Am I right? Yeah, that's for data driven concept which I will talk about. Yeah, so this is one thing about the custom properties is clear, right?
Yeah, it is clear.
So basically if it is a constant, okay, if it is a constant, if you want to if you don't want to hard code that value in the XML request and you wanted to read it from some other source, then you can use the custom properties. Okay, and
So
you
what
also
is about properties? What do we have in properties?
which properties?
Beside custom properties, there is another property called request.
No, not about request. If you see, it is project properties. Am I right?
Okay.
Now it is test suite properties. Now it is test case. It is request.
Okay.
These are the properties.
Information about what's
What some information that SOAP UI is giving about at each level. Okay, so that
at project properties level, in that we have some script languages, Groovy something.
So it means that whatever the request you are sending and whatever the response you are getting is through happening internally. It's through happening a Groovy scripting language.
Okay.
So as we are using the SOAP UI tool, so all those details are abstracted to us.
Okay. So in order to automate a few applications like test cases, so the SOAP supports any language, or is it a specific language?
Doesn't matter, right? For us, what it internally does, we don't need it. Okay, I use the bike since 10 years. Okay, so
Okay, that's
I
very
never
prof-
know, I never know how clutch is applied internally. I never know how gear is applied internally. Even I'm curious to learn about that. Sometime I wanted to watch YouTube videos on that. Okay, but I always busy with many other things, so I don't give time to that. So, like, correct, no? So
yeah.
similarly, when it comes to SOAP AI, we need to give a request and we need to get the response and we need to do some assertions. Okay, that's what we need to know. But what internally, how request is processed, how request is converted, how response will be coming to the SOAP AI tool and it is representing. So all those are internal tool. In fact, we can also know about that because it's an open source tool. We can get the entire source code freely available. Source code also freely available. Okay, so it's all depends on individual. Okay, so if somebody is some people will be too much curious what is happening, right? So probably they can go inside and they can try to understand that. But as a user we don't need that much level. Okay, so today is SOAP tool and tomorrow some other tool, so no need to go too much depth usually. Yeah. um, Fine. Okay. So we talked about custom properties, right? So
Mhm.
let's also talk about some of the UA assertions. Okay. So let me add, instead of going with the existing test case, let me add a new test case. And test case name, which I wanted to give is, so we have miles to kilometer and meters to centimeters and feet to inches. So you want to clarify anything? Feet. Okay, let's go with feet to meters. Some new test case. So now you need to add a step. Okay, steps are important. SOAP request step. Which step? So give a proper name. So you are trying to work on feet to meters. Okay, so select the operation, and you can see these are the assertions. Okay, SOAP response assertion and schema assertion, add not SOAP fault assertion, create optional element, something like that. Okay, so these are the assertions you can by default add, or you can choose or not to choose. Okay, so if you want to make sure the schema, the XML responses came as correctly, okay, and inside the XML the schema is represented correctly. If you want to do some basic validations, you can do that. Okay, fine. And if you see the test, okay, so let's say you can update it from farm value, let's say 20, and what is that, feet.
So so whatever the test case we test will have that form. Yeah.
Not
Like that's
necessarily,
required.
not necessarily. So those who are creating the web service, okay, so if they are kind enough, they'll be creating this kind of form to us. Okay, so otherwise we need to see the data, the parameters that is requested by the operator. Okay, so for this operation, what are the parameters we can pass? Those information also is available in the WSDL language.
So
WSDL,
if the form is not available, we need to check the information from
the
WSDL
WSDL.
file,
Yeah. So most of the
then
times,
apply to the XML.
yes, exactly. Most of the time they'll give. I mean, at the same time they'll also not to. They'll
In
also.
general, in like real-time applications, how does it have?
Mm. If it is not too many parameters and if the form is not complex, they'll give it. But most of the times it's like 50-50%. Okay, sometimes those people will be giving the form to you, and if they're not giving, there is a chance that we can also ask them. Okay, so why can't you give the form so that it's easy for our testing. So we can ask them. And so there is also chance that, okay, so if you write one test case, it's the same for another, writing another 100 test cases. Okay, so if you worry about that, if you are unable to write one single test case, okay, we'll provide one single test case to you, or some 2 or 3 test cases to you. Okay, you can see those 2 test cases or 3 test cases, and based on that you can write your own QA test cases. That way also they will help you. So for everything you can ask the developer, and they can help you in creating the sample test initially. And then you can start your own test cases. Sometimes if the web service is a little bit complex, and there are operation is taking too many parameters, and you are not aware of that, and you are unable to understand that, so just you can able to ask the developer, they can help us. Okay.
So in general, the applications, like in real time in companies, do they have explicitly like only web services applications, or part of the application they'll be using some web services?
It's all let's say when a project is creating, okay, for the first time the project is creating, nowadays they are creating the project in the web service manner.
Okay.
Okay, so that in future also there won't be any problem. Yeah, 1 second, sorry. Yeah. Let's say your project is creating something that others can make use. So if you see any project, okay, so there are multiple components out there, and the functionalities which are implemented in this component can used by other components, can also get the request from other side out of the project. Okay, so in that case they will tend to create a web service, so that service can be used by any other any other component or module, or outside the project itself.
Okay, so will they charge for that, so some other persons to be used then?
It depends on, there are let's say now I'm using length converter, who is charging me. Okay, so it depends on the service provider. Okay, so there's something not this is something very complex, and we are not going to offer it for freely. Okay, so we want to charge something, so in that case they will be charging. Even you can take e-commerce website also. Okay, they'll be having a lot of web services internally. For example, I wanted to get a list of categories. Okay, or you can take PayPal or wallets. If you're trying to booking a if you're trying to book a bus ticket or flight ticket, okay, how many payment methods you can see?
Like PayPal
you can see, and you can see some wallets, right? You can see some wallets, right? Okay, so you can see wallets, and you can see debit card, credit card. Okay, so all of them are operated through web services. 90% at least. Some of them could be operated in a different manner, I'm not sure, but many of them are operated through web service. So what happens? Okay, so let's say you select the wallet. What is the wallet name? And you enter the amount. What is the amount name? Amount number, and your credentials are already passed. Maybe if you require to log into that wallet, you need to log into that wallet. Yeah. Usha, can you hear me? Yeah. So you are giving the amount number and your name, your password, and from which website you are doing this transaction. So all this information as a request will hit the web service, and web service process, validate all these details. Okay, the amount that you are entering and the credentials, it will process everything. If everything goes fine, okay, you have a sufficient balance, whatever the credentials that you have passed is correct, okay, your transactions will be successful and you get the response back. And the website where you are booking the ticket will validate that response and it show it to you, your transaction is successful. Okay, so that way also possible.
So in general, so that process will be testing in terms of QA. That will be the part of testing, like what's
Okay.
the response.
Before, let's say I'm providing this web service to all the ticket booking service, ticket booking websites. Okay, so I can go to the ticket booking website. We have a wallet, so please integrate this wallet to your website.
Okay.
So that the reason is, so our wallet is used to by these many millions of people, and if you can integrate this wallet to your booking website, and you'll not be losing any customer. Okay. So sometimes now in India, what happened? Okay, so we want to buy something and we don't have the change because we are getting the bigger notes. You might be aware of, right?
Yeah.
Now in India, so we are getting only 2,000 notes most of the times, and we don't have the change. And if you go with the 2,000 rupees, nobody is going to give the change, and people are suffering like anything. Okay, so let's take my example. And me and my friend went to a tea shop. Okay, we want to have a tea, and first what we did is we checked in the tea shop, those guys are accepting the Paytm. Okay, so if those guys are accepting the Paytm, then only we are going to the shop, because we don't have the change. What we can do is we do the cashless transaction.
Yeah.
There are many instances people losing the business because they're not having the Paytm nowadays.
Okay.
So we went to the tea shop and that guy is not having the Paytm, and there are many shops out there, many tea shops out there. So we found another tea shop who are accepting the Paytm, and we did the transaction and we got it. Okay. There are many instances are happening now. Similarly, the ticket booking websites who doesn't have this wallet, they might lose the business, right? So in that case, they'll be asking the wallet providers, okay, we want to integrate your wallet. Can you give the web service details of your wallet? Okay, that's how they integrate. Is it clear? Usha, you there? Hello?